before we move or jump into the investigation itself, let's first understand what Snuff Cinema actually is. Okay, yeah. So historically, the term snuff film, snuff cinema, or red rooms refers to describe the content that depicts real acts of violence or death, homicide for entertainment or commercial purposes. And on the dark web, when you see platforms using names like Snuff Film or Red Rooms, they often try to market themselves as exclusive libraries of that prohibited content. And access is usually not free. Users are actively required to pay an entrance fees, typically in Bitcoin, to gain that temporary access. And in case of Snuff Cinema, what I have observed is that for Snuff Cinema, you will pay an entrance fees in Bitcoin. They will generate a link for you, which you can access only for 24 hours. And in those 24 hours, you can download as many files as you want, which I'll also show you later in the investigation itself. Now, whether all the advertised content is genuine or it's simply a marketing stunt is difficult to determine, because for that we have to buy the access and see for ourselves how it really works. And for us investigators, that is really not the focus. We are more interested in the infrastructure behind it, how they operate, how they stay online, how they receive payments, how they maintain continuity over time. And I think this is one of the biggest challenges itself, because on dark web, it's really, these platforms, they don't rely on one single website. And so how does the infrastructure behind Snuff Cinema work? Many services, dark web services, operate through multiple onion domains known as mirrors. Think of it as backup entry points. Like if one domain goes down, another takes its place. And what makes this particularly interesting is that from a user perspective, everything looks exactly the same. Shared branding, same content, same payment model. And at first glance, you would say, like, is the exact website. But as you investigate it further, you realize that the infrastructure behind these websites can be entirely different. And we will see this later in the investigation itself, that Snuff Cinema relies heavily on this type of distributed infrastructure. And when we looked at their payment portal, things got even more interesting, because when we looked at the payment side of the platform, we expected to see a simple setup, maybe one wallet used across multiple domains, but that was not what we found. Instead, we found that different mirrors use different Bitcoin wallets, and some of these wallets actually had never received funds. So we normally call them dormant wallets. Some had historical activity going back to several years. Others received funds and moved them out shortly afterward. Even the requested payment on each mirror for each wallet is different. So it's harder to track and correlate them. But with tools like StealthMole, I'll show you how easy it is to not only, done the blockchain analysis, analyze the transaction, but also to correlate and associate them in the wider ecosystem. And that immediately raises questions like why they use different wallets, why they have, dormant wallets, why they move funds so quickly. But that's how things work in the dark web. And at this point, we were not only investigating one single website anymore, we were investigating a financial ecosystem. And as we continued further, we also found traces of Snuff Cinema on external platforms, like there were Telegram references. The platform also appeared in leaked documents. One wallet even surfaced in an entirely different onion service that was actually advertising Bitcoin wallets for sale. So it was a wallet that was pre-credited, and you have to pay a certain amount for that wallet. But it was also related to Snuff Cinema itself. So maybe they are rotating certain wallets. Maybe there is a common operator for multiple dark websites. So it could be anything. But you see an overlap while investigating these, financial infrastructure, these websites, these wallets further. So, and that's how most of these, investigations evolve when you on the dark web. So why exactly we chose this case for the webinar, and what exactly made this case so interesting? It was the fact that one single artifact led to different other artifacts, and you eventually begin to see the bigger picture because we had mirror infrastructure, we had financial activity, external promotion, we had a wallet ecosystem. So one single domain became an entire ecosystem. And so this particular case brings together several investigative layers in a single target. And it also provides us with a perfect opportunity to showcase everyone how effective StealthMole is in conducting such complex investigations so simply. Now, before we jump to our platform, let me quickly give you all a short disclaimer. So the profiling insights presented in this session are derived from open source intelligence, and due to the complex nature of cyber operations, attribution cannot be fully verified or guaranteed. We do not intend to attribute or unmask any individual or group. Our main objective is to introduce and demonstrate a new methodology for behavioral profiling within a cybersecurity context. Now let's move on to our platform itself. So this is what you will see after logging into the StealthMole platform. It's super easy to create a new case. You just hit new case and it will take you to our canvas. So this is the search bar. Let's first change the name so it's easier for us to find later. So I'm just gonna name it webinar. Perfect. These are the different modules that we provide, like Dark Web Tracker, Telegram Tracker, some compromised credential tools. These tools assist you in your investigations. Not only that, we have 3 different incident monitoring tools, which I have talked about in length in our previous webinars, if you have joined any of them. So this is leaked monitoring, government monitoring, etc. But for this case, as I've mentioned, it's a dark web platform. So Dark Web Tracker is the primary tool that we are going to use. So when I first investigated this case, I actually stumbled upon one of the URLs related to Snuff Cinema platform. But I'm not going to start our webinar with that because I'll also want to show you how you can simply start your investigation with a keyword search. Unlike, other traditional investigation tools where you need an artifact like email address, IP address, or something to start with, StealthMole makes it easy for you. You can simply start it with a keyword search. Now, of course, when you start with a keyword, there are thousands of domains which have mentioned snuff. Some of them were flagged for sexual exploitation. So how do you really filter it all? So as you see, we have Tor URLs. So URLs are basically sub-pages of those domains. So let's wait for a few seconds while they are loading. We have also several images which have mentioned Snuff Cinema, hundreds of files, some leaked documents and leaked files, etc. So in this case, you see there are several, onion websites which has mentioned Snuff Cinema, again Snuff Cinema, etc. So what I'm going to do is I'm simply going to add one of them to the canvas, and I'm going to show you what it looks like. So in this case, you see the URL. We also support historical indexing. So if you want to see what a website looks like back in time, you can just hit on any one of them and it will take you. So let's wait for a few seconds. And while you can see all of these different URLs, they have mentioned Snuff Cinema. So it is very common on the dark web to have directories. So some pages are, solely focused on directories to different platforms. So this looks like that. So while it's taking longer to load, maybe the HTML page has more. So what I'm going to show you now, let me just quickly show you what it looks like from a different URL. Maybe this will work. Okay, yes. So like I've mentioning it earlier, it's just another directory you see. So these are just the URLs for different dark web marketplaces, platforms, like GiftHub, Podshop, etc. So finding Snuff Cinema in this huge list, it's easy. But what I'm going to show is we also have an inbuilt AI tool. So the first URL that let me quickly add windows. Just give me a second. Add this window. So basically we have an inbuilt AI tool and it's called Mole Chat. I've asked it a question like, give me information related to Snuff Cinema from the given file. In our previous webinars, I have shown you how to use the MoleJet AI to process larger files, to process leaked documents, multiple documents at the same time. But this case, I'm going to show you how you can search with HTML files, URLs, domains, etc. So in this case, I've simply asked it a questions and we already have the answers here. So you see the HTML table, it's onion addresses, which we have already seen. So there are 4 different Snuff Cinema URLs listed here. One actually is real Snuff video. It's unrelated because it was flagged because the same Snuff word was mentioned here. So what we are going to do, we are just going to copy any one of them here, and we are going back to our platform. We are going to select our domain and just search it in the dark web tracker. Now, before we look at the results, let me quickly show you what exactly Snuff Cinema website looks like. So you can see this is currently active. It was last scanned almost a week ago. We have some historical pages as well, but by the look of it, it's very static HTML website, so it's most probably the same. Now I have run it in Dark Web Tracker, and now we can see we have thousands of results in the Tor domain itself. So it's possible that this particular Snuff Cinema domain was mentioned on these websites. That's why they were mentioned here. But we also have Bitcoin wallets, which you can clearly tell from the website, like there is no Bitcoin wallet openly listed. And that is one of the strong suits of StealthMole. Like we try to extract embedded data from the websites as well. So let's add all of them. There's one more way which I'll show you later on how you can start this investigation if you don't want to start it with the URL itself. So let's select any of the Bitcoin wallets. Let me quickly show you one more thing. So we have a wallet risk check. So it's basically if there's a suspicious transaction, if there's anything, suspicious which this particular wallet has seen will be listed here. If you just want to see the transaction, you can go to the source link and it will take you to a third-party website where you can see like this particular wallet is a dormant wallet. There is no transaction. It was just linked to it was just created for the domain, but no transaction ever happened. That's why it's low risk and there is no suspicious transaction, no suspicious amount. One more thing that you can do, different from the traditional blockchain analysis tool is that you can run the Bitcoin wallets further in our dark web tracker to see to which particular website it is linked to. So in this case, we only have one, which I have already added. We also have the sub page. Let me show you what it looks like. So it's the sub payment page, payment portal of the website that we already seen. So this is the Bitcoin amount. Let me quickly zoom it out a bit. And so they were requesting this Bitcoin amount to this Bitcoin address. This address will be working only for next 24 hours. And your payment will allow you to download files for next 24 hours from this computer. So you see how they also focus on machines. So multiple users cannot use the same account. So this is one of their system. Now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to run this one further in Dark Web Tracker and try to see what else I can find. Because in Dark Web, again, there is no single website, there is no single domain. They actively rely on multiple mirrors. So if one gets taken down, another can easily take its place. So this one is listed to several other platforms. This one literally has Snuff in its name. So let's add it. We have some Bitcoin wallets, but this is just an overlap because this is just the URL of the main domain that we have already added. Now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to run it further in Dark Web Tracker Pro and we'll try to see what else we can find. So we have some information. These are just directories. We also have a Bitcoin wallet, a leaked document, and some sub URLs, which again just be random dark web directories or platforms which have mentioned it. So now let's take a look at the wallet itself. and see if there's any information. So again, dormant transaction status, no money, but let's see. Okay, there's only one transaction and it happened in 2018. They received some cents in Bitcoin. Maybe they were just trying if the wallet is active or something like that. So normally in such cases, what I do is I just color code them and say, let's say it was transacted or it had some transaction. So you just add something it like that. So when you are conducting complex investigations, it really helps you in saving your tokens and identifying things clearly later on. Now we also have some child pages. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add this, and this is just another payment portal page from the website itself. Again, you can see there's a wallet, the Snuff Cinema. This time we had this URL. Again, the other requirements and instructions remains the same. So now let's run this one further and see what else we can find. So it's like, pivoting from one artifact to another, trying to find one information, then you run it further, you run it in different tools that we have, try to gather more information. So here, again, some of them were, flagged for sexual exploitation, and it could very much be possible that they were Snuff Cinema. As you see, we have one more. So again, 2, 3, 4, you see how easy it is. So normally if you start investigating for these mirror domains manually, it gets really complicated, time consuming, and difficult to find them. So you can see within seconds, I have at least 10 different domains listed here just from one single website. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to investigate each one of them in the dark web tracker, trying to get more information about their infrastructure, their mirror infrastructure, as well as their crypto infrastructure. Now here they say this particular domain is linked to 44 others, but most of them were taken by the Bavarian authorities. And again, this is very common. Security forces often do that whenever they identify a mirror, identify a website, they takes it down. So the ones that we are seeing, some of them are active. So that means the authorities might not have identified themselves. And that's why, StealthMole is one of the really effective tools for law enforcement. If you want to see, if a particular Bitcoin wallet is linked to anything else, you can just go, and here you can see that it's not. It's just a payment portal page. Again, same infrastructure, same color, same instructions, everything remains the same, but the website, the wallets, the infrastructure behind is different. Now let's take a look at this one. So here we have thousands of child domains again, and 15 more Bitcoin wallets. The thing, if you guys have noticed or not, so far we have seen zero overlap of wallets. So they are clearly not reusing any wallet to any domains. So if this gets taken down, all 7 wallets became useless. They are not reusing them for, and I think it's good for their operations because it makes it harder for others to track them down. And so we have 15 wallets. Let's add all of them. Now what I'm going to do, let's pick any one of them and see if there's any transaction, there's any risk. So again, it shows dormant status, low risk, but the time difference is limited. So last they received was in 2025 October, and we just had 2 transactions, money coming and money being taken out, and nothing else. So, and in some wallets, I'll show you, like, some of the transaction amount is so low that you can easily tell that they are used for service providing platforms. So here, let's take a look at this one. And in this case, we have 3 other domains, but we have already added 2 of them. And one is again flagged for sexual exploitation, so we don't have to add it. Again, another, Bitcoin wallet, same Again, same limited transactions, only 4 of them, money coming in, taking out. And if you check the wallet risk, it's low risk wallet because they are not reusing them. They are not, repurposing them or associating them with multiple domains at once. So that's why if you see we have, small amounts of money coming in, so it doesn't get flagged. Let's skip a few and let's run this one. So we have 5 different wallets, and again, all of them are completely new wallets, the ones that we have not seen before. We have some subdomains, unrelated though. We have a website address. We also have images. Later on, I'll also show you how you can images to start your investigation. So similarly, let's take a look at other one. And here we have more Snuff Cinema, more generic, directory links. We have Bitcoin wallet, and this Bitcoin wallet, let's run it further and see if there's anything else that we can find. So this one is actually linked to 14 others, and it is actually a domain which is off. Let's take a look at the historical indexing and see what it looked like. So we last scanned it in October 2024, so it's been quite some time. And as you can see, this is a Bitcoin private key selling seller account. So it's possible that the snuff operators are buying these Bitcoin wallets from random dark web platforms and repurposing them by linking these wallets to their own websites. So when someone is trying to track them down, they get confused, like if it's really Snuff Cinema or if it's just a scam or something like that. Now let's take a look at this one. Again, we have we have one more website. This is the first time we are seeing this. So let's take a look at this one. Maybe we can find something else. So again, similar to the previous one, Snuff Cinema is already off. And I think this is, again, one of the most interesting thing that StealthMole supports, that you can actually see what a website looks like, even if it's taken down, even if you cannot access it any longer on the dark web itself. So we last scanned it in 2020, so it's been almost 5-6 years now, but you can still see how it looked, the exact domain, exact title, everything, and even the linked and associated artifacts. It has some leaked documents, and these are maybe just listings, Snuff Cinema. And we have a leaked file as well. So tech news, it could be just another, file. You can see the exact QR codes that they might be circulating on their website. So we gather data directly from their website. So we have a file path, and this is some generic explanation from the AI itself. Not only that, we have some deep web, thread links as well, which this is in Russian, and you see there's some more data. Another interesting thing that we have is our inbuilt translation tool. So if you come across in different language threads or websites, you can easily translate them to English. One more thing that StealthMole is very good at is supporting multiple languages. So let's say if you want to see how the Chinese dark web, operates, what all things that circulates on the Chinese dark web, you can simply search with Chinese keywords or Russian keywords, and it will show you the relevant results. So are there any scary websites? It's from 2016, as you all can see. And I'm sure Snuff, website link was just circulated as one of the scary ones. Because this is not normal, showing content of homicides just for entertainment is really sick. Now let's take a look at this domain that we have found. So this one, again, only has one Bitcoin wallet, nothing new. This is a pattern that now we are seeing, and we have some, again, snuff related information, which we have already added. So there is an overlap of domains, but not of the cryptocurrency. Now let me show you guys how you can search on Telegram tracker itself. Now, since we first looked at the keyword Snuff Cinema on dark web tracker, now we will take a look at Telegram tracker and see what results we get. So in this case, we have 3 different messages. Let me quickly show you. Similar to dark web tracker, Telegram tracker will also show you the accounts, user accounts, channels, groups, which have already been taken down. But if they are in our database, you can still see them, all the messages that they have circulated, all the images, media, etc., even the exact link. So in this case, someone circulated Snuff Cinema domain. I don't think we have it, so let's just copy it. Snuff Cinema, a basic definition, and also share that I'm sharing this for educational purposes. Nothing is educational if you're sharing the link, but we also have different channels like League Database, where again, they are trying to promote Snuff Cinema or trying to circulate it to as many people as they can. And one thing I would like to mention here, I'm not saying that Snuff Cinema is actively investing into external promotion, but maybe people who are interested in such kind of stuff, they are promoting it themselves. So we also have some images. So if you take a look, we have a Snuff Cinema screenshot, and it was circulated in 2 different Telegram messages. So when you see message ID, that means it was circulated on Telegram itself. Let me quickly show you how it works. So I'm just going to run it further in Telegram tracker, and it will show me the exact message in which this was circulated. So here you see the media photo. This was the photo that was circulated, and it is in German language, although I don't understand it, but it has something related to snuff. So similarly, if you are interested in investigating a single message or the group it came from, the website, everything, you just run it further in Telegram tracker. It will show you the exact message, the channel in which it was circulated, the domain, although it was flagged for sexual exploitation. I have copied it, I'll show you, and the Telegram channel link that you can use for searching in dark web tracker. So let me just show you the Tor domain that I have copied, and let's take a look. So this is the domain. It's the first time that we are seeing this one. That's why it was added separately. It was circulated in 3 different messages. Again, League Database, Snuff Cinema, scenes of actual homicide, same things that we have already seen, and these are the 3 different channels. Now, if we run it in dark web tracker, we can again gather and extract more information about its financial infrastructure or its linked domains. So these 2 are linked to this new one. We also have some subdomains, and we also have a URL. And these are some like Tor pages, deep web pages, which might have mentioned it. And if you see, we have a server status page or payment portal page, although we don't have a snapshot for it. So this is basically how we investigate and map out different, websites, platforms. You can see within just 15-20 minutes, we have mapped everything. Now, for the last one, let me show you how this time we started the investigation with Onion directory, but let's say if you don't have the Onion directory, how you can start the investigation. So we search with keyword, and we have several images here. So let's wait for a few seconds, and let's take a look at any one of them. So in this case, we have Snuff Cinema, and the file name itself consists of a domain. So this is the path, and the first one is a file name domains. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to simply search with it, and we will see if it really belongs to Snuff Cinema or not. Although the naming pattern clearly says it, so it's Snuff Cinema. It's on, and the last time we scanned it was May 2025. It is further linked to one more platform which we have already added. There are some deep web URLs which have mentioned it. Again, a Bitcoin wallet. Let's take a look at this wallet itself. And so this one is a medium risk wallet. There is some suspicious transaction count, amount. It was also seen, in contacted with a blacklisted wallet, and the detected pattern is abnormal drilling. And if you want to check the transaction of the blacklisted one, you just hit click on it, and it will take you to the third-party website and where you can analyze all the transactions. So the latest one happened today. And these are all from today itself. As you can see, hundreds of thousands of dollars are moving or coming in. I'm not saying this is directly related to Snuff. Maybe either the Snuff operator have contacted or sent money to this wallet or has received money from this wallet. It could just be a mixer wallet or something like that. But of course, it flags it for you, so you don't have to spend time for doing manual investigation or trying to find how I can see the transaction or if it's linked or not, etc. Another interesting thing that we have is our crypto tracker, although currently we are working on it and it's not accessible, but you can see how you can further search each wallet and check the amount coming in, going out. If you only want to see the blacklisted wallets, if you want, you can also set the date range, and the edge colors will also specify if it's an exchange wallet, if it's whitelisted, suspicious, etc. So all you can do is select and hit continue. Right now, I cannot show you because it's not working, but in future, you will be able to do the blockchain analysis inside the StealthMole platform, and you don't have to rely on a third-party tool for that. So this was basically it. Now, to wrap it all up, I would like to show you our Canvas AI report. So for Canvas AI report is basically a report based on the things that we have added to our Canvas. And that is one of the reasons why I was, labeling or color coding them. So, it's easier for our system to identify and index them perfectly. We basically have two type of tools that to support the AI report. One is basic mode, another is advanced mode. So basic mode is basically will generate a report based on the canvas in a minute or two, and the advanced mode will take 10 to 15 minutes for that. But it will provide you with more context and information. So you see how we have kind of mapped their entire infrastructure just starting from a keyword itself. So as you all can see, we also have a title, an overview, most of the key findings, everything is indexed properly, like it's a Tor URL, Tor service, and any side notes, like this one is the base URL, a payment page. So you don't have to spend time on manually doing anything. So because our tool is AI backed, we have several AI tools to assist you in your investigation. These are all the Bitcoin addresses that we have identified during our investigation. Some explicitly recorded transaction link. These were the ones that I flagged. And infrastructure concentrations, like number of Bitcoin addresses linked. So this platform had 7, only one payment page, etc. Also Telegram references, messages, related artifacts like the images. So for images and other artifacts, media artifacts, we work on hash. So if you search an image further, it will show you, if a hash has been repeated on multiple platforms, it will list all the associated ones on dark web tracker. So summary, you can also copy it and paste and turn it into a PDF. So you don't have to, do it manually. So this is basically how we conduct investigations, map out infrastructure of different dark web platforms, which is very difficult to do manually. So thank you so much for being with me.